So do you know that feeling when you think you finally finished something? Well, that didn't last very long. This is my rebuilt DIY Vanmoof. I completely rebuilt this bike from scratch. So that means no more Vanmoof app, no more needed support and no more locked systems on the bike. Everything works standalone. So the motor, the battery and the controller all do. Well, that's until it didn't. Yeah, seeing the bike fully complete now, it's actually just perfect for me now. So I'm here to tell you that YouTube isn't real life, but I want to be honest with what I share with you watching. So I think it's time to dive into the bike and see what I broke. Because it turns out that running 500 watts through a 250 watt motor will eventually kill it. Who knew? I did. I totally did. So in today's episode we're tearing it back open to do some repairs and also some modifications. Because while Vanmoof themselves cannot really help you with these bikes anymore, I think that they should be repaired to stay on the road. Either that or I'm just stubborn. So I found two brand new Vanmoof motors on Marketplace for 45 bucks, which is not too bad, at least in my opinion. So let's make sure that these will last longer than this one did. So even though YouTube makes it seem like this bike is completely perfect and finished and done, that is sort of the case, but I still want to test the limits and see how far I can take this project. So that's why I was sort of testing the limits of the motor and seeing how much amperage it could take, because the BMS can take around 15 amps, I believe, maybe even more. So I figured that the motor might be able to get close to that sort of power as well. But the motor originally is rated for, I believe, 250 watts. And with the 13 amps that it was running, and that's why on the hottest day of this year, well, the bike decided to break itself. Well, I broke the bike. So for two brand new motors, I paid 45 bucks. Which is not that bad. And the guy actually recognized me from the videos, which is really cool, by the way. So I got some spare buttons and a rear light as well, which is pretty nice because I still want to make a new design for the rear light. Maybe 3D print a housing, because for this one I just sort of glued and hot glued it with some tape together, which is fine. But it would be cool to make something that you guys can download off the internet as well, throw it onto a 3D printer, and yeah, just like convert the original light to a 36 volt one. So of course the motor comes without the wheel, and you could try and relace the wheel, but what I'm gonna do is try and like swap over the internal part, and hoping that will solve my problem. Yeah, let's take the wheel out. It's pretty weird that they use a Torx for almost every single bolt on this bike, but then the disc or the rotor, that's almost always Torx, that ends up being a Allen key. So I don't know why, but some parts of this bike really are pretty weird. So the more I work on these bikes, the more strange things I just run into. The internals of this motor, for instance, they are made by Bafang, which is a well-known brand. That being said, on the outside of the motor it does say Vanmoof, but what would be wrong with a universal Bafang motor to begin with? To me it just seems that these things make it harder to scale production or adapt when nobody would even notice a motor that says Bafang on it. Oh yeah. Anyways, I scrubbed all of the parts down with some degreaser before investigating a bit more into how these motors work. So just for fun, I figured that we might open up the motor a bit further, just to see how it works maybe a bit more, or see if there's anything we can like visually see that went wrong inside of the motor. Don't know yet, but might as well. So this sort of lid that screws off the motor, that allows you to open it up, houses one of the two main bearings, but also sort of this geared ring. So it seems like this gear only turns one way, just like the sort of the hub in the rear of a bike, which is interesting. And I'm gonna see if I can open it up a bit more. So what actually happened to the bike? Well, while pushing it on a very hot day, the bike started sort of, well, shaking under high power, and it still does that after cooling down. Now, what I think happened is that the coating on the copper spool wires got too hot and that burned off, which results in the current shorting out, or well, sparking across on high power demand. And even though I'm not really sure, I believe that this would make sense, and also it gives me and well you a chance to take a look into this motor. Oh. I just really figured that the axle would go all the way through, but of course it doesn't. So why would they make these out of plastic? Is it just to like so they run quieter, or? Nothing. So this part of the axle, that's of course stationary because that lives in the fork of the bike. And then these coils right here, which is where the power is sent through, those power the magnets, well, that's sort of the motor. And then those power the little spindle gear over here. And this little spindle gear in its turn powers these three little gears. And those little gears in their turn sort of power this one-way ratcheting gear ring thing. Yeah. So I think I've done enough exploring for now. So I'm going to fix the bike. So I think I learned some new stuff today, and maybe you did too. Well, if you did, or you just like the content, be sure to subscribe to the channel since it does help me out a lot. And also you'll get notified when I post a new video online. Thanks. So I'm just putting everything back together, which is no major task. Working on these projects can be a big relief compared to working on stuff like cars. I can do it indoors, and also I don't have to lay on the floor the entire time, which is nice for a change. So the main difference is that on the new motor there are these sort of copper washers, and on the old one there's this sort of spring-loaded washer. For some reason I like the spring-loaded one better, so I'm gonna put this on. These projects are all about learning, and essentially this bike is one really big prototype. With 3D printed parts that are designed at home, you will always notice some defects or errors, and that's to be expected. Vanmoof probably worked several years on designing this bike and used an entire team of smart engineers, so if I need a couple of tries to develop and test the limits of my prototype, I think that's alright. As I said before, this isn't really a YouTube-oriented project, or well, it wasn't one when I first started. I just wanted a cheap Vanmoof, and I used this bike almost every day just because, well, it's great. So when it's down due to issues like this, it really bums me out. I will let you know my possible ideas for this bike at the end of this episode, because there could be a couple of options to further explore the Vanmoof topic. But first, it's time for a test drive. So I just went for a quick test drive, and yeah, the problem is exactly the same as it was before, which is yeah, I'm a little bit bummed about that. The problem that it has is it's not that bad. Well, let me just show you guys the footage from the test drive now. Sadly, the audio did not work on my test drive, but as it turns out, the motor wasn't the problem after all.
So it's likely the controller that overheated, but it does work, it just cuts power sometimes. So I'll need to replace that. So you could say that I wasted some time, but at least now we know how the motor works, right?
So here's the thing, the controller in this Vanmoof, well, it's not exactly perfect. So it works, but it starts shaking a lot under higher power demand. So it's fine until the new one arrives, but even though it's hard to see on video, it's really annoying to bike with, and the new one is on order, but knowing shipping times, I'll probably grow a beard before it arrives. But of course you will see that in another video. So right now the controller is living inside a 3D printed plastic PLA box that I made. I painted it black and it's sitting right in the sun, which, fun fact, that is the perfect recipe for a slow melting disaster. So as you are able to see, it's somewhat buckling and sort of getting wavy. So when I redesign it, I'll share the STL files online so anyone can print their own. But I think it would be cool to sort of take this opportunity to redesign the box completely. But here's the thing, apart from the occasional overheating issue, the bike is basically done, and it's very nice. I love riding it. The bike has been one of my favorite projects ever. So this got me thinking, what if I made a Vanmoof 2.0 series? A proper one with a perfect cable harness, improved controller case of course, and some other upgrades as well. And this time I can show you guys every single step properly and better and clearly, so you can basically just copy it at home if you'd like. And let me just take this opportunity to say that honestly, I never expected so many people to be interested in saving old Vanmoofs. And if sharing my process can help more of them get a second life, I think that's well worth doing. So that's where you come in. Should I do a full Vanmoof 2.0 build or move on to something completely different? So leave your ideas in the comments, big or small. And well, yes, if your suggestion is a jet-powered shopping cart, I will consider it. So thank you guys for watching To Gears Your Journeys, and I hope to see you next time.